Okay, I have a very minor usability nightmare. So I went to the cinema and I booked it online. Now, I usually avoid booking online because I know how much can go wrong.
Hold on a minute. So you do your grocery shopping online, but you won't book the cinema. I find that's the opposite to what I would do. I would definitely book the cinema online.
I get very frustrated by interfaces, though, especially if they're a little bit frustrating. It just annoys me so much. And then I'll end up like trying to look at the code of the website and trying to figure things out, and I'll try and read into things that...
That's your own fault for getting sidetracked.
I know. Okay. So, but I'm not the only one who's had this problem. So Pete Clarkson, I noticed he tweeted about exactly the same thing. So the Odeon, which is our local cinema that we were going to. So when you choose a film, and then you have to log in, and then you have to, there's a weird screen that shows like rate your buzz level, which is like your excitement level, which seems like that's completely nonsense.
What's that got to do with it?
I don't know, it's like underneath. I only saw that because it was underneath the thing that said, which cinema do you want to go to? So you choose the local cinema, and then it showed that buzz thing, but I don't think you needed to click on the buzz.
That's so weird.
It is weird. Anyway, pointless. You can ignore that. And so what you see next is a list of all of the showings, the show times on a certain date. Okay, so there's 11:40, 12:20, 1:20, etc. And there's quite a lot of them. Some of them are light blue.
Okay.
With a dark number, and some of them are dark blue with a light number.
Okay, and what does that signify?
I do not know. I went through the whole process. At no point did it actually say what that meant. And I'm looking at it now. I've got the website in front of me. I can't figure out what any of those things mean. I mean, I can book either of them. There could be a difference maybe in ticket price or something. I don't know, but it doesn't say.
I've just found out.
Oh, right, okay.
Because as you've been talking about it, I've been looking at the same...
Oh, right, okay.
...thing.
How did you find out?
Have you tried hovering on the item?
I was on my phone when I booked it, so no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously hover state's not ideal anyway. Hover. But if you hover over the times...
There is no hover.
There is for me.
Oh, you have to hover quite a long time.
It's the title text, they've used title text on hover.
No, I still can't see any difference.
Okay, well, if I hover over light blue, it says off peak.
Off peak?
And if I hover over dark blue, it says peak.
What? That's weird. Okay.
Like a train ticket.
Yeah, so there is a reason for it then. Is that an adequate explanation?
It's not very clear, is it?
Especially on mobile, where it was literally impossible. You can't hover over anything on mobile.
Yeah, that's definitely not been designed with mobile in mind, has it?
No.
It needs a key, or, to be honest, do you really need to tell people at that point that it's off-peak? Just let them book it and then say it's £2.50.
I think that...
The right way to do it to me would be to say, let people book at the time they want.
Yeah.
But then, at the point where they add it to the cart, if there's a cheaper time earlier in the day, say... You could save £2.50 by going for this less popular time, and they might go, ooh, actually, I will do that.
Oh, yeah, okay, that is quite good. I don't know, I do quite like that on the listing page you can see the difference, but I think it's crucial to know what those differences mean.
Or let people filter. Have a filter at the top that says show only, peak, off peak, or show all.
That would be a good way to explain what they are. So you don't need a key, because if you got, say, 2 filter tabs, maybe, one selected, one isn't, then that does the explanation for you, doesn't it?
Well, you'd need 3, wouldn't you? You'd need only peak, only off peak, and... All. Yeah.
Although
I can't imagine someone would ever go, I only want to see peak, please.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Nobody is ever going to go, oh, this is too cheap, I want to go at a different time and pay more. But someone might say, this is too expensive, I want to go at a different time and pay less.
I suppose so.
No one's ever going to go, oh, I really want to see just the most expensive times, please.
It's the same film. It's the same film. It's not going to be... the experience isn't going to be enhanced if it's more expensive.
Someone might go, I only want to see the cheap days. Oh, I'm off work, I'll go on Wednesday when it's cheap or whatever.
Yeah, true. Okay, so maybe it's not so bad, and maybe I'll let them get away with it, but I don't know. I'm all for clarity.
Yeah, no, it's poor UX.
Yeah. I've got another usability thing that was sent to us by Pete Clark, and it is related to shopping, but more that it's about the Apple Store.
Okay.
So, shall I read you what he sent us, which is quite a lot of... He sent us an essay, but it's kind of interesting. So, he says he's recently upgraded to the latest version of macOS, which is currently Mojave. Is that how you say it? Mojave?
I think it's Mojave.
Mojave?
Mojave Desert? It's the Mojave Desert, isn't it?
Right, okay.
It's not the Mojave.
Mojave? Right, so he's upgraded to Mojave. And he opened his piece of software called BB Edit, which is a text editor he purchased from...
Or is it Babedit?
Babedit. Let's call it BBEdit, because that's just easier to say. It's a text editor that he purchased from the App Store in 2011.
Okay.
So a long time ago. I don't know how often...
Hasn't forgotten his purchase?
Maybe. Well, it's more complicated than that. So I don't know how often he uses this, but he said that he used it recently. He started seeing a message telling him that he was in evaluation period, right? But this is something he bought as a one-off purchase a long time ago. And then there was a number of days left to counting down and buttons labelled Restore Purchase and Buy Subscription. So clicking the Restore Purchase button didn't do anything. You know what I mean by Restore Purchase? It's
so you bought it previously. Let's reactivate using the previous details.
So it didn't do anything, but there's no success or error message. So he's kind of got no information about what's gone on there.
Okay.
So if you close this software and then opens it, he gets exactly the same thing, and it's got a time, like a countdown. So he's worried he's going to get booted out at some point of this software that he's bought. So contacted the developer called Bare Bones. I suppose that's why it's called BBEdit. And I think they got back to him straight away, which is great. But their response to him was, your license remains in effect, but unfortunately the App Store rules and mechanics make it impossible to opt out of upgrades. So the problem is he was being upgraded. And they said it's not possible to use the App Store to roll back to a previous version. So he'd paid for a certain version, the version 10. But if he was able to restore the previous version, then he could use it absolutely fine and apparently forever, as long as he didn't allow automatic updates, because the automatic updates would upgrade him to the version that was going to then kick him out and charge him.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened was this. Apple doesn't provide any mechanism for developers, so the developers of the software, to offer upgrade pricing to customers. This means they either provide free upgrades forever or have to do something messy like submit different versions of apps to the Mac App Store. So taking the second option would mean all customers paying the same price, even if they bought the previous version of the software.
Yeah.
So faced with these options, Barebones made the decision to move to a subscription model, which is fair enough. Lots of software is going that way. We use all the Adobe software packages, and that's like a subscription thing. And that's kind of a bit annoying, but I don't know, it's okay. They've got to make money out of it, I suppose. But because of the way the Mac App Store works, loads of customers were automatically being upgraded to the new version and then being told they needed a subscription without any explanation. But their advice was to restore it from a backup. And he didn't have a backup because this is something that I don't back up my software, especially if it's something that I download from another source. You download it kind of when you want it.
Yes.
Like apps on your phone.
Yeah, I wouldn't think to necessarily back it up. It's just a program. You just reinstall it or re-download it, don't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But anyway, that's the only way he can use the software that he bought. It says if I want the new version, I can either subscribe via the Mac App Store or buy a traditional non-subscription version from their website directly. And they wrote saying, I regret that the Mac App Store gives us no agency. We can't notify customers in advance, and there's nothing they can do to interpose in the update process to prevent the Mac App Store from overwriting your old version without your consent. So it's like the App Store, they're in control of this. They're in control of updating all of the apps.
Yeah.
Which in some ways you want them to be, because that, as a software developer, you don't want to have to worry about that. They can do it for you. But it means that they're always updating people's software to the latest version, whether they want that or not.
I've never thought about it this way, but I've never, ever liked the update process on Windows. Because on Windows, I've not used Windows for years, but last time I did use Windows, you would usually have, at any one time, each app seemed to update itself with, a little tray icon. So you'd have, one interface popping up from, QuickTime saying, I need to update it myself, and you'd go okay, but it would then be a different interface for your antivirus, and they were all individual.
Yeah.
So I always hated that. It's one of the reasons that I stopped using Windows, and to this day haven't used Windows, because I just don't like that. What
are you used to then?
So I use Linux. So I use Ubuntu, Linux, and Ubuntu has a package management system on there called apt, which you basically just say install, update, and it updates everything in one place. There's no...
Right, yeah.
Every update comes through the same channel.
You would on your phone.
Exactly right, yeah. You just go, update everything now, please, and it just runs through, and then everything's updated. But in actual fact, it never occurred to me, obviously on Linux, basically everything's free open source software anyway, so there's no payment models to think of.
Yeah.
But it never really occurred to me, these sort of payment issues actually in terms of payment and different subscription models, having individual update processes pretty makes that easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The old Windows model of each app updates itself, it's open to each organisation and each company company to choose whatever model works for their software, whatever distribution method works for their software.
Whereas the Mac App Store way of doing it, you're kind of locked into their way of doing things, and they're in control. Yeah, which in some ways is good because it means that a developer small team don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it means that they don't have the control if they wanted the control.
Yeah, you can only go from the limited options given.
Yeah, interesting and weird.